What's up, guys? Cage here, and today we have to talk about some information coming out of Gamescom. An interesting topic of discussion that has been making the rounds from the Xbox at Gamescom broadcast. Basically, day one, where Xbox was showcasing a bunch of games. And this has been a rather controversial matter, being Dying Light the Beast was being showcased at the event. And it turns out the whole time they were actually playing the game live on stream for Xbox viewers and more to see, only to find out that the game was actually playing on Steam the entire time. Now we're going to talk about my issues, is this a big deal, all sorts of stuff regarding this, but I'm actually going to show you when it happens, and really just a lot of things surrounding this. But guys, if you can, do hit the like button. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. And leave a comment in the comment section down below, even if it's just an emoji, because unfortunately YouTube is now designed to be essentially, hey, if you actually don't engage with the content, well, your view doesn't count. So there's that. Also, apparently there's like this hype button now that you can use that essentially helps the video. So if you would like to engage in that, I'd really appreciate it personally. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. I want to show you guys the actual event itself live when it crashed, but also the lack of disclosure surrounding where this game was playing on. All right, guys, so this is the actual live event. I'm going to play for you basically the beginning of the devs for Dying Light the Beast being introduced. This is actually one of my most anticipated games of this year, so don't think that I'm shitting on the game or the developers by any means. I think this is an industry-wide issue, but let's get into the beginning where they're introduced, just to show you guys that they do not at all disclose this entire stream that this is actually not being played on an Xbox.
Well, some survival scenarios are a bit more dire than others, and if Project Bloomwalker is set to be a beautiful but challenging walk in the park, then Dying Light the Beast is a long march down a ruined highway to hell. The latest installment aims to blaze a new trail for the beloved zombie apocalypse franchise. And here to introduce us to the Beast are Dying Light franchise director Timon Smektala and Q&A analyst Aaron Tolte with some live gameplay. This is so exciting.
So guys, they're giving you the entire impression that this is being played on an Xbox. They have the Xbox controller right there for you, and these are the devs themselves. I will say the one positive here is that they're actually playing the video game. This isn't staged gameplay. This is them playing live, and mind you, the dude that's playing this game is absolutely awful. That's how you know it is live and not staged. But listen to them and what they have to say, because once again, they do not disclose that this is being played on Steam.
Welcome to the show and welcome to Gamescom, guys.
Hello, Bex.
Hello. How has your Gamescom been so far for both of you?
It's my first time, so very, very exciting. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, busy, crazy, and lots of fun.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, you've got some live gameplay for us, so can you show us what you've got?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very excited.
Yes, let's start the demo. And the mission that we have here, of course, it's Dying Light the Beast, right? So it's going to be scary, going to be full of zombies, full of open world exploration, parkour, melee fighting. And the mission that we have here is actually quite funny one, because it's one of the side missions from the game, and it starts with a very classic Dying Light dilemma. There's like a small group of survivors struggling to survive, live.
So at this point, they're just getting into the gameplay. There is no, well, this is being played on Steam at an Xbox event. But they go on to play the game, and further into the demo that's being live played by them, this happens right here.
So they're laughing at you again, right?
No.
Okay, but just to finish the thought, maybe let's go back to the game,
we'll
and I will finish the thought. So what happens is that
so this happens. The game crashed. And it reveals that this entire time, they were playing this game off of PC on Steam. Arguably a direct competitor to Xbox, mind you, right? But this, I can understand if people don't care what they're playing it on. And that's fine if you don't. But there is no disclosure whatsoever for this. And then, mind you, look at how they just play it off.
Again, the volatiles, what happens is that
they just take it off the screen, and they just literally take it off the screen and pretend nothing happened. All right, there's no address. It's just, let's just pretend that didn't happen. It's like, obviously, they weren't expecting any of that shit to happen. I'm glad this at least happened live on stream, so we know, obviously. But also, now the developers themselves know that we know that this game is has some crashing issues. So I guess there'd be more incentive to make sure that this game is not crashing by the time it comes out in, like 4 weeks or so. But I cannot blame the developers for this. The developers at any given opportunity will, in fact, showcase their game looking as good as they possibly can. And how do you do that? Well, by obviously having it running on a high caliber PC, right? But that is the fact that Xbox allows this is a deceptive practice that's been happening for as long as we can go back. All right. And this isn't an Xbox issue. This is an industry-wide issue. It happened to it's one of those things where it happened on an Xbox event. So I have to call out Xbox for this, right? Because there should be a level of standard at these events, and Xbox should be enforcing those standards from these developers, right? There should be either full disclosure, hey, we're playing this game on a PC instead of an Xbox, before they actually get into this event. Or and honestly, if they're just like, well, this is the general settings of what an Xbox would be at, but playing on a PC instead, right? At least some disclosure on that, right? Now, whether you believe them or not is up to you, right? I'm not going to believe them personally, right? I'm going to believe that they're definitely fudging the numbers at least a little bit to make it look a little bit better than it would on a console. That's how I would feel, or even outright lying. Who knows, right? But I definitely am going to feel like they're pushing the numbers just at least a little tiny bit, even if they were to disclose that. But at least it's disclosed, and it's not they're being forthcoming with the information. This is just them outright hiding that this was running on a PC the entire time. And a lot of people will make arguments for it. And honestly, some people are using this to console war. And that's ignorant as fuck, because this has happened to multiple game developers. Multiple game developers have been doing this for decades now. And to pretend otherwise is inherently ignorant as shit. And honestly, in a space where we've been deceived so many times, dude, I believe like none of what I see or hear anymore. I don't believe it until we see people, actually playing it out in the wild at this point. You know what I mean? And we've dealt with things. We dealt with fucking Anthem, all right? Them pretending, making fake gameplay that played itself. I forget, there was a game that they showcased at like E3 years back where the dude was literally standing there pretending he was playing the game, and then come to find out he wasn't, and there was proof of it. I forget which game it was. It's such an embarrassment. But the deception that is allowed at these showcases from not just Xbox, but plenty of other major fucking companies too, is disgusting, and it really needs to stop. We need at least disclosure at these events. And guys, don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you to care if you don't care, but I think it's fair that we all should know what the deal is when these developers are actually bringing these games to us. Because, obviously, if you're on PC, you're expecting a game to be, if you're on PC and you're watching a PC event, for example, right? You expect the game to be playing on a high-tier PC. Even if you don't have a high-tier PC. You're expecting it to be playing on the best PCs possible. Because, obviously, they're going to do everything to sell the game to you, right? At a Xbox event, the mass majority of people here that are here to watch an Xbox event are under the assumption that what they're seeing when they look at these showcases, when they look at these live showcases, demos that are being shown, they're expecting these to look and play pretty much like it would on their own Xbox. And by showing that this was indeed on a PC, no, temper your expectations. They were showing you what they wanted you to see, not necessarily what you're gonna get. And like I said, I don't blame the game developers for this, because they're going to do everything in their power to sell you on this game just short of outright lying to your face, I would hope, right? But it is something that Xbox should take seriously, that if you're going to have a showcase featuring games that are going to be releasing on your console, that these developers actually have the games running on your console. I think it's so important. I'm just tired of being deceived, and I think that at least that should be the case, because at least you, as like the Xbox player, actually seeing what kind of, resolution, what kind of visuals you're gonna get, what kind of details you're gonna get, or lack thereof, whatnot, right? But at least, if not actually playing it on the Xbox itself, at least disclosing what it's being played on, and preferably saying what kind of, specs you're playing it at, and giving us as much details as possible, so that I, as well as other players out here, and this is across the board, get an idea, and don't feel that we have to question everything. Because we've been through, dude, gaming the past 15 years, bro. I talk about it all the time, but when you really think about all the lying shit people, these devs told you at E3, these fake showcases that developers put on, actual fake, like literally fake nonsense. Anthem still kills me to this day. They literally made pretend gameplay, had motherfuckers voice acting it as though they were playing. And the devs didn't even know it was their game being showcased, because they didn't even have a real concept for Anthem. Other than that trailer. There's some things that I could just never forget, and then some things that I forget that are just, yeah. But I think that this is not as big of an issue as some people are making it out to be, because obviously it's being taken out of context. And this is not the most important issue in all of gaming. Let me just preface this by saying it's not the most important issue that needs to be addressed in gaming, but this is one small issue of many. This is not an Xbox issue. This is an industry-wide issue. Get used to disclosing, all right, what the fuck is going on. All right, because I'm just sick and tired of being lied to, and I'm sure a lot of us are. Anybody that's using this to console war, you guys are the biggest losers on planet Earth, as per usual. And if you think that your platform isn't doing this kind of shit too, you're sadly mistaken, my guy. But yeah, guys, I'm actually interested to hear if you think that this is a big deal, if you think this is a minor issue, not necessarily the biggest issue, or if you outright just don't give a shit, you don't think this is an issue at all. Matter of fact, yeah, continue to showcase these games at console events running on super high-powered PCs, so that you let these console gamers know that this is the type of stuff, this is the type of gaming they're never gonna get, even though you're showing it at their events. But yeah, guys, if you can, hit the like button. Really does help me out. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Kick, Rumble, Twitter, Cult Classic Cage, on all of those. If you want to continue the conversation, consider becoming a channel member. Gets you instant access to the Discord. Gets you dope-ass emotes for the live streams every Tuesday and Thursday. And yeah, guys, I'm out. Peace.